Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. What did Danielle expect Brittany to do? Like, let's be real. What did Danielle expect? I laughed when that happened. I laughed. I cackled. I got my whole entire life because Danielle played, in my opinion, a flawed, messy chance game all season. But let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks. We are here to talk The Traitors USA, season 3, episodes 11 and 12, the finale and the reunion. Very loosely, the reunion, because I watched it. I didn't really take notes on it, but there are a couple of things that I want to talk about. So, if you are brand new to the channel, or if you've been here all season and you have not yet subscribed, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video, leave your comments about the entire season down below. There's a lot to talk about. Overall, I enjoyed the season. I truly, truly did. We had a lot of fun over here. So thank you all so much for rocking with me all season. The good, the bad, you loved me, you hated me, all of that. All right. So if you haven't subscribed, leave your comments, all that good stuff. So let's talk about the finale. I took very loose notes this week because I feel like there's no like strategy to really talk when it's the end. Okay. So we start off with at the round table. Remember, everybody was going around voting and they had to do a second vote because it was a tie. It was deadlocked. So let's rewind. Remember, it was Dylan voting for Danielle, Dolores voting for Ivor, Gabby voted for Danielle, and then the cliffhanger was who did Brittany vote for. So Brittany voted for Danielle, and I screamed. I know you fucking lying. Could not believe it. Could not believe it, right? Because in my heart of hearts, I knew that Brittany was gonna vote for Ivar and keep Danielle. I 1,000% did not expect this, but y'all know a wonderful woman is called wonderful woman. Okay, if you know, you know. So what killed me though is she put a heart and was like, Danny. And she was like, look, I thought that Dolores was voting for Danielle too because they locked eyes. Here's the thing. If you feel like you can only vote one way based on how somebody else is voting, no. No, no, no. At the end of the day, this is a game for sure. And y'all are not even really friends. So Brittany said that one of the best things about being there, being back in the castle, being on the show, was being back there to reconnect with Danielle after what happened between the two of them on Big Brother. So Dolores looked so mad at Brittany. Dolores was so mad. You'd have thought that Brittany wrote Dolores' name down, how mad she was. So Danielle is banished, and Danielle is so mad. And she was like, you did it again. You did it to me again. Well, here's the thing, Danielle. You wanted her to be a traitor so damn bad, sis. You were begging Carolyn all but on your knees, saying, Carolyn, please. You were begging Carolyn to bring Brittany, the same person that crossed you in Big Brother, the same person. You wanted her back in the turret so damn bad. And for what? She crossed you the first second she got. The first chance that Brittany got, she voted for you. This is what you wanted, right? So Brittany is weeping as if her mama died. And I was like, oh, girl, it is okay. So Danielle leaves and she has kind words for Dylan and Ivar and Gabby and Dolores. And then she just kind of rolled her eyes at Brittany, and it's like, no, be mad at yourself, Danielle. You honestly and truly, Danielle has nobody to be mad at but herself because you could have rolled this to the end with Carolyn. And then if you would have got to the end with Carolyn and you crossed Carolyn at the end, so shall it be. But the way that you went about this, Danielle, I'm gonna say it like I've said every single episode so far, was flawed. Danielle played a very messy game. Danielle started a lot of this turmoil herself. So we find out that this is the last banishment to find out somebody's identity. The next banishment, they are not going to have that person disclose if they are a truthful or a faithful truthful. If they are a traitor or a faithful. So Danielle says in her confessional that she's embarrassed at how Brittany played her and she should have taken her out. You should have. You had every opportunity to get Brittany up out of there, but you wanted her. You wanted her. So we then find out that Brittany is the seer, and honestly and truly, I think that Danielle won the seer, and they gave it to Brittany because Danielle got banished. So we then see that Dolores is the only person truly shocked by Danielle being a traitor and was like, she needs an Oscar. No, Dolores, you were just not paying attention because a lot of stuff that Danielle did was very obvious that she was a traitor. Okay. So Dylan points out that Danielle felt betrayed by Brittany. So to him, he's computing, doot, 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 doot. He thinks that, oh shit, Danielle might be kind of hinting that Brittany was a traitor with her. So Brittany picks Gabby to be a seer, or Gabby, excuse me, Brittany picks Gabby with her seer power. So Gabby basically tells her, I'm a traitor. Like, I'm a faithful, like I told you I was a faithful. So she opens the envelope and she sees it. And I'm like, Brittany didn't even do a good job of, she didn't even do a good job of, looking shocked, right? Because we know that Brittany knew who was faithful and who wasn't. She just it was weird. She thought she was going to get over on Gabby, and she didn't. So the next morning at breakfast, Brittany shockingly tells everybody that Gabby is a faithful, and her reasoning behind that is, look, if I come in and I say she's a traitor, then they're going to possibly think that we both are traitors together, or they're going to just feel like I'm setting her up. So the best thing to do would be for me to say, yeah, she is a faithful. And I'm like, I feel like it was a lose lose. I wouldn't have picked Gabby. Truth be told, I would have picked Ivar and said that Ivar is a faithful, or I would have picked Ivar and said that Ivar is a traitor. I would have done something like that. I wouldn't have picked Gabby. So Dylan starts to put two and two together while everybody is conversing. And he was like, look, based on strategy, Brittany and Gabby could both be traitors, okay? So he was like, it's interesting that Danielle didn't say anything kind about Brittany. She felt betrayed by her. So that leads him to believe that that Brittany is truly a traitor. So they get to the challenge, which I thought was super lame this year, not even gonna hold y'all. So they get a scroll, and the scroll is a map. They have to answer these riddles and then go to different places on there. While they're going to these different places on the map in the woods, they are collecting bags of money. Once they get all the bags of money, they are going to get to the last spot, which is going to be these like super luxury classic cars. Once they get into the cars, then they're going to drive back to Alan and give him the money. I was like, this is foul. Last season was way better, but whatever. So they do that. They collect all the money. They get all the cars and stuff. They get back to Alan. While they're standing out there, Alan is like, "Look, I'm gonna help y'all. I got something for y'all." We see a helicopter rise from the ashes, okay? And there, Alan tells them, "Look, I'm gonna give you guys the opportunity to double your money. Y'all are gonna be hanging off the bottom of the helicopter, okay? And while y'all are hanging off, you're gonna be holding the bags of money. You're gonna see the ring of fire below. Y'all have seen it before, and y'all have to drop the bags into the ring of fire. If you drop the bags into the ring of fire, I'm gonna double it up for y'all." So I this is why I can never go on them shows. One, I'm terrified of heights. I don't even like flying. I fly because it's quick, right? But I don't even like flying. So doing that suspended in the air, oh fuck no. But they do it, and they were able to get the price pot up to, what was it? 203 $203,000, $203,430, I think. So I'm like, that comes down to not a lot of money per person because it's a lot of people still left. So we get to dinner, and Brittany is trying to convince Gabby and Dolores that Dylan is the traitor. This is her new strategy to get the girls to go against the boys, and then maybe she can get herself to the end. And I'm like, okay. I mean, so Brittany is like, look, we have all been wronged and duped before. And Dolores was like, especially me. Yes, Dolores. But you know why, Dolores? Because you have only voted for Tom and Ivar this entire season. If it ain't Tom and Ivar, I feel like you haven't voted for anybody else. So, Dolores, please, 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 please. So we get to the round table. Ivar said, look, I've had my suspicions that Dolores is a traitor. I said, oh, y'all, stop this bullshit. I am so sick of Ivar and Dolores going after each other just for no fucking reason whatsoever. What are y'all doing? What are you doing? Oh my God. So Dolores is like, it's not in my DNA to be a traitor. Whatever, whatever. I, I, I would have been so happy if both their asses got banished off. Because what are y'all doing? Like, let's stop playing around. This is the end. Y'all should be have your eyes set on the money. Like, come on. So Dylan is like, well, Brittany, I'm gonna write your name down. I said, get into it. Yes, get into it. He said, look, because you're the only person that has had serious suspicion, out of all of us left. It came from Derek, Boston Rob, and from Danielle, the interactions with them, that type of stuff. He said, what I honestly think is that you and Danielle were planning on going to the end yourself together and having this great storybook ending to, y'all story. And I was like, okay, okay. So Brittany is like visibly upset. She gets visibly upset. She gets angry. Okay. And she was like, well, you were upset when you didn't win that thing, when you didn't win being the seer. You wanted to be a seer. Only people that are traitors wanted to be the seer. And I'm like, Brittany, no. No, no, no. Because nobody wanted to be the seer more than Danielle. From what we saw, at least from what we saw. So they start going back and forth at each other, and Dylan is like, I'm shocked at the attack. So Brittany is like, well, so you can call me a traitor, I can't call you one. He was like, no, it's just the way that you're doing it is whoa. And I agree with Dylan. I think if Brittany would have been more composed at the round table, it would have landed better. But it came across as guilty. It came across as very, very, very guilty, right? So Brittany is like, well, that's just how I am. I get fired up. I pull out the notebook. I start looking through the evidence. I call the manager. I said, you look like you are a can I speak to your manager type of person. You look like you are, okay? So Dylan was like, the way that you're attacking right now, you sound like a traitor. You're giving off traitor vibes. So Brittany handled this round table absolutely terribly. While she did have some points about how Dylan has been sitting back and in the cut, and how Brittany and Dylan's games have been pretty similar. Yeah, she made some valid points against Dylan, but it was the way that you handled it, Brittany. Dylan has been very composed. He wasn't yelling at you. You were attacking him. And what we have seen throughout this season is that the traitors attack people when they feel threatened. When they feel like their back is against the wall, they attack. They don't clearly lay out, evidence. So we go around and we vote. It was Brittany voted for Dylan. Then she very lamely was like, don't come for me unless I send for you. Baby, that only works if you're going to win. You didn't win the argument. So then Dylan votes for Brittany. Ivar votes for Brittany. Dolores votes for Brittany. And Brittany immediately starts crying. Girl, you knew you lost. You knew you lost. You thought you ate, but you didn't eat. And then Gabby votes for Brittany, so Brittany is banished. Now, we know, us at home, we know that Brittany is a traitor, so now all the traitors are out of the game. But because they are no longer letting people say what they are when they're banished, that the remaining people now have to act off of gut feeling about whether they want to end the game or they want to keep it going. So they get out to the ring of fire and or the Ring of Truth, Ring of Fire. And we all know that they have a box and they have two different choices. If you throw in that you want to end the game with the remaining people, if everybody is faithful, you all are going to win and split the pot. If there is one traitor left, that person is going to win all the money. So if you want to end the game, your flame is going to be green. If you want to banish somebody, your flame is going to be red. Now, four people left. If just one of them decides that they want to banish somebody, they have to vote to banish to banish a person, right? It has to be unanimous. So They do it. Everybody throws their stuff in. Of course, they were all faithful, so they each won $50,000 apiece. And while that's money, that is not a lot of money. That is not a lot of money. Not for what they went through for this month. That's not a lot of money. But kudos to everybody that won. So the winners of season 3 are Gabby, Ivar, Dylan, and Dolores. I feel like Dolores skated through. I feel like Dolores and Ivar too skated through. Do I think that they deserve to have one? I don't. Do I think Dylan deserves to have one? I do. And I think Gabby too, because Gabby handled herself at the round table when people were coming at her every single time. Dolores wasted votes and wasted time, and Ivar was just there. So we get to the reunion. There just was not a lot at the reunion worth talking about. I was actually kind of bored with the reunion, but I wrote down some highlights, okay? So we find out that Dolores voted wrong at the round table 8 out of 10 times. Miss Mamas. Oh my God. So we then see that Andy asks them, why did y'all kill all the housewives at the beginning? Nobody had a real answer. But let's address this. I always feel that it's cheap. That the gamers come in and they're like, let's get rid of the housewives first. Let's get rid of some of these people first. Like, and I understand that the gamers and the housewives look at the show very differently. They come into the process with a different mindset. But I just feel like to me it's lame because then you get to the end and it's a bunch of randoms. Like, I feel like you have to keep some of the housewives throughout because you want a housewife on your team to help you argue at the round table. And that's the part that a lot of them are missing. Right? Now, Dolores isn't a typical housewife that does a lot of the arguing. On here, she didn't at least. But if they would have kept Robin or kept Dorinda to the end or kept Ion to the end, they would have been arguing on your behalf. So, like, moving forward, y'all, I hope. I hope that whoever gets cast next, that y'all realize that. Don't just assume. Now, they've been getting some older housewives. Get some of the younger ones that are more, I guess, fit, that are able to do some of the challenges a little bit better. But like y'all are, come on. Come on. So let's do the Danielle versus Carolyn thing. So Danielle said that it was organized chaos with them in the turret together. She thought that Carolyn was working for Boston Rob or working with Boston Rob, and that's why she went after her. Cap. That's bullshit, Danielle. That's bullshit. You didn't think that. You thought that Carolyn was not smart enough to help you get Boston Rob out. That's what you said. You said nothing about feeling like you thought they were working against you. Whatever. So then Carolyn feels that Danielle did not respect her. And Danielle goes kind of around the corner with answering before she was like, I do respect you. I did respect you. I think that you were clever. I know that you're smart. And I know that you were genuine. So hopefully Carolyn receives that and they both can be like, it's just a game. But at the end of the day, Danielle, you did go after Carolyn for no reason. So I can understand Carolyn feeling away. Danielle is proud of the fact that she swore on her grandkid's life that she is a faithful trash. There were people in the comments that were like, oh, that's okay. People do that. We don't do that in the black community. We just don't. That's trash. That's trash because it's never that serious. It's never that deep. And then to find out that Danielle only did it with Dolores because she knew that, like, I don't like that. So then we get Danielle versus Brittany. So Bob the drag queen is telling Brittany that you did not have to vote Danielle out, which is true. Brittany, you had a choice. You had a choice. Nobody, twisted your arm behind your back and made you do it. You made a choice to do that. However, I still feel like this is Danielle's fault for trusting her. Why are you trusting the person that crossed you initially? Y'all in there dancing around and you and me must never part, all that bullshit. What was that? What was the purpose of that? I'm sorry, but nothing that Brittany did coming back into this situation with Danielle should have made Danielle feel like she could trust her 1,000% to go to the end. So Brittany is like, look, I have only met you 2 times, and I spent a total of 3 cumulative hours with you before we went on Big Brother. So don't make it seem like we were these knee-deep friends and then I keep crossing you." And I said, "Oh." Y'all know I don't watch Big Brother. I'm not a gamer type of viewer, so I don't know about any of that stuff, but I was like, "Oh." So Dolores then said that Danielle deserved it because fool me once, shame on me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I mean, like, we all have heard that old proverb. We heard Bush mess it up. Fool me once, and fool me, can't get fooled again. Remember when Bush said, "Oh my God, I miss when presidents were normal." So then Danielle clears up the fact that she did not break her NDA. She did not tell Brittany she was a traitor. Dorinda, Lord have mercy. Dorinda was so offended that Bob the drag queen didn't know who she was, and Ayan was doing too much. This why they be getting y'all asses up out of here. Housewives. Dorinda, you are not that mad because you didn't know who Bob was either. I thought Bob was very loud, very brass. Very brash, I should say. This reunion, I didn't like his attitude. I didn't care for him in the capacity of this reunion. I forgot Robin was there. She didn't speak until the end, and even then, I was like, "Shut up, Robin." They had Robin hanging off the couch. Robin said, "I have never been this far back on the couch." Um, and that was really it. There was really nothing to the reunion. Not for real, for real. But let me know how you guys enjoyed this season. Who would you love to see on next season? On season 4, because it has been renewed for season 4. Speaking from like a housewives summer house type of deal, I would love to see Kenya. I would love to see Kenya go over there. I would love to see Wendy from Potomac. I would love to see Wendy go. Who else? Kenya, Wendy. I would like to see Candace Dillard Bassett go. I think Candace would be good from Potomac. From Summer House, Martha's Vineyard, because I don't watch the other Summer House. I would love to see Preston go. Jordan, I think Jordan would be good. I think Nick would be good. So, hopefully they pick some people that I know. Go find Coral. Is Coral still around from like Real World? Go get Coral's ass and bring and bring her back. Let me know down below who you guys would love to see on Traitors. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thumbs up the video. Catch you guys next season. Peace.